Welcome back everyone. Today I want to take a look at the Callisto protocol, which I will refer to as TCP for the rest of this video because the title's kind of long and I kind of don't want to repeat that over and over. It'd probably get tiring. But this is the new survival horror game set to release this year. Now, this game caught my eye last year in the 1-minute trailer that they released. What interested me the most were the stark similarities that it shares with Dead Space. At a first glance, you could be fooled into thinking that this could be another Dead Space title. Much of what these two games have in common are the atmosphere, weapons, and even death scenes. Now, some of the weapons look like those from Dead Space with some minor changes. They share body style, ammo counter on the top of the back of the gun where you could see it easily. It also shares those lasers sticking out from the front, letting you know where you're pointing and how wide of a shot you have. They also have similar character animations like the stomping out of enemies, meleeing, running, creeping, and I do think the way that they hold their weapons, if I'm not mistaken. Also, the game is going to be set in third person, not first. Doing it this way will be better when trying to make the game a lot more immersive since you'll have a wider field of view, and it's going to make it a lot easier to see things in your peripheral vision, which to be honest is going to make it a little creepier because you could see overhead, to the sides, a little bit to the back depending on how you're standing, and if there are any creatures that will inevitably be climbing over the walls or the roof or tripping stuff on you, you'll be able to tell, and it's just going to make it a lot more frightening for the player, which I think is going to be a great addition. Though what I thought was different about this game upon watching all the content that's been released are the visuals, characters, and even the monsters, but not by much if I'm being honest. The graphics this game has are stunning. When I watched the trailers they have been releasing since last year, I found this to be what Dead Space could have been if they had Unreal Engine 5 back then. TCP is detailed. In the actual gameplays you can tell everything is sharp, textures look great, colors / lighting are perfectly tailored to a horror game, and even the characters look realistic. The monsters also look great. They're more contorted. You can hear the bones cracking / snapping as they move or do any motion. I find this to be a lot more popular in horror movies, which for a game like this works really well, and I'm glad they're incorporating something from movies into the game because I'm a big fan of this. I love horror movies that include this, so in my opinion this is going to be a great addition. Now I wanted to circle back to the colors and lighting. They do mention that they're going to be adding RTX, which is going to be a fantastic addition for a game like this. I think immersive lighting is the way to go to entice the player into a horror game, and considering RTX has come a long way, I think a game like TCP is really going to benefit from this addition. But what I will say is that most of what's been released has been in-house production gameplay, which is not fully completed. Obviously things can change, making the game look better as time goes on. Also, other improvements like characters can be made. The way they look, move, interact with things, fight, everything that has to do with them can be made better, and how they move throughout the world that we're given. They do have a lot of time to finalize this game and put it together for its release, and at the moment what we've seen, we could at least expect some improvements from the current gameplay to something finalized and ready for the public. So I'm excited to see how this game is going to improve from what we've been given now as to when it's going to be released. Moving on to the characters, we have Jacob Lee, which is our protagonist. He's going to be voiced by Josh Duhamel. I want to say I pronounced that right. Hopefully I didn't mess up too bad. But he's the guy from Transformers. Also another character is going to be Danny Nakamura, who is going to be voiced by Karen Fukuhara, who is also from the show The Boys. Great show, by the way. I really loved her character and the way she played Kumiko, the character who couldn't really speak and use sign language. I thought she was great in that, so I'm interested to see how she's going to play Danny in TCP. They chose good actors for these roles, which is going to make the characters a lot more believable. It's always a good idea to have people who know how to voice act in order to bring that next level of storytelling and character immersion. Though this is all we know for now when regarding characters, so this is where I'm going to leave it at. Any more information that comes out, I will compile it and make a dedicated video for characters, but we're going to move on to the story. Now for the story, Glenn A. Schofield, the creator, mentions that the game is going to be set in 2320, so like around 300 years from now. The location is going to be on Jupiter's moon called Callisto. Apparently humans have never set foot on this moon, so it's going to be interesting to see if the player is going to be limited to indoors or if it'll also include exterior parts. Now looking into the indoor area, this is going to be the Black Iron prison where the main character will be. They also mentioned that there's going to be a conspiracy unfolding within the prison, which we can kind of tell from one of the trailers that they have. I also want to add something I found odd. Glenn had mentioned that this game was going to share the same timeline as PUBG. You know, the Battle Royale from like 2017 or something like that? Yeah, that game. Though I wasn't surprised considering that the owner of PUBG is going to be publishing TCP, which kind of makes sense. Apparently they were going to share a timeline, obviously TCP being far into the future. Though recently in May, Glenn did mention that this wasn't going to be happening anymore, though players could expect some light references to the Battle Royale at best. This kind of threw me off because I never expected a game like TCP, which is a horror survival game, to share anything in common with PUBG, which is a battle royale. Though I was curious to see how these two could be tied together, I found it to be kind of odd that they were actually thinking about putting these two games together. So that is kind of a bummer that that's not happening anymore, but you know what? Oh well. There are a few interviews that I watched to get a better idea of what this game is going to be like, and from an IGN interview, Glenn said that for games like this, and I quote, they try to do things that are a little based on science, which is why it is on Callisto. It is a moon with water, which is also known as a dead moon. They use this specific place because scientists say that this could possibly be a place humans colonize sometime in the future. Also, I do want to mention that Glenn is the creator of Dead Space, so I have no doubt whatever is incorporated into the game's main storyline slash timeline will be great. If we've seen what he's done in the past, it's been a success, so we can only assume that TCP will also be a success if we consider his previous work. Even though this is a fictional game slash story, I like when game devs do things like this because throughout all the sci-fi stuff, there is some sort of realism that makes the players think, everything we're seeing here in this game could be a possibility someday, which makes the game even creepier than it already is if you think about it. There's many other details that I've been compiling into another video that cover combat, gore, skill tree mechanics. I didn't add it into this one because I don't want this video to be longer than 5 to 7 minutes, so that'll be a video that comes out some other time. I thought this was a good game to cover, even more so now that it's gotten a December 2022 release date. It's a widely anticipated game, so if you've played any of the Dead Space games, let me know what you thought of the Callisto Protocol. What are your initial impressions, and what do you hope to see in this game that you wish you saw in Dead Space? Well, that's all I've got for you today. If you like this content, make sure to check out some of my other videos, like and subscribe. Alright, bye.